Hello and happy Friday, guys. How's it going? Oh, the music just cut out in the game. I was like, why can't we hear anything? Happy Friday. How are y'all? Zach's coming in to say it's National Pizza Party Day. Did you bring the pizza? Zach, where's our pizza? Go get it. Let's go. Let's have a party. Let's have a party. Welcome in, Dee Dee. How's it going? Jingle bells. Hello. Welcome in, Captain Perez the Second. How's it going? I forgot to do this last night, so we're gonna do it now. I do want to say a big thank you to Lilac Kitty 64, Luana Moonlight, and CHTRBX for subscribing to the channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then a big thanks to Stephanie for becoming a Lucky Star member. We're actually going to gift out some memberships that I get for free from YouTube because I always forget to do this. So we're going to do that now. And so 5 lucky winners will get some memberships, and y'all should take advantage of those. Welcome in Donna, the Cozy Introvert, MJ Snowy, Z's Whimsy Realm, and Naomi. Congratulations, guys. Welcome aboard. Alrighty, now that I've gotten all the housekeeping things out of the way, let's get down to business. We played us some Paleo last night. The new update launched earlier this week, and I thought that would be kind of fun to do. It's a huge update, lots to do. So we might try that again on the channel next week as well. I'm just taking a look at our beautiful handiwork. Look at this. Oh, isn't this lovely? I feel like we should be singing that song, you know? Isn't she lovely? Yep. This turned out pretty good. I think we did all right. I've actually kind of considered going back and elevating this tunnel up one, but I don't know. Maybe we'll leave it. You can't mess with perfection, right? Okay, let's get going over here because last week we started kind of laying out like all of our little waterfall areas, and I think the plan was to leave this elevated and we would just use maybe some ramps and stuff. One of the things I kind of want to do today, since we've already kind of gotten all of our water stuff situated for the most part, is come in and lay down where our path is going to go. And then we can kind of know exactly what's going on with all of that. So I was thinking what we could do is we could have some sort of entrance to our walking garden, and like, dude, y'all are insanely populated today. Make it go that way, but then also have it fork to where there's a walking path right here in the front, you know, maybe some seating just to enjoy this like lovely view. And then another, like, it would kind of wrap around and go this way. So what do y'all think? I have a cat singing the song of his people, if you can hear him in the background. Just yowling away. He's been a problem child lately, so if anybody needs a cat or wants a cat, I've got a few to give away in addition to memberships today. I was thinking about using the pebbles as the walkway over there. Since, you know, that's a thing. I need to go find where I put down a shovelful of it somewhere because I know I have it. So we can start laying down our path. Ahaha, there we go. Okay. And then once we know where our path is going to go, we can fill in. So path first, and then all the rest later. So I'm thinking, and since there's no grass, this will work in my favor. And this is kind of rounded, so it'll be nice. So we'll come, you can go straight out of here. We'll also put up a fence probably. Okay, finally. Can y'all hear that? Hey, cool lady, welcome. Lurk while I eat, no problem. I hope you're having a lovely Friday. I hope everybody's having a good day. I think I'm gonna go like this. I tell you what, I feel very unprepared for this stream. I was running around like a crazy person today. Trying to get all these things done. You know, I started cleaning my house at like 7 o'clock this morning and doing some projects outside. And I didn't finish that up until like 11:30. Actually, no, it was closer to 12. And then I was like, I gotta eat. I've got to get some stuff done. I have one of those days where it's just like never ending on the list of to do. Okay, so I feel like maybe that's wrong. That might be wrong. Let's put this here. Let's grab some dirt. I can't tell if it's wrong or not though. Maybe I need more here. That's the difficulty in a game like this where you have to, where you're on a tile system. You can't just make a lovely, you know, meandering path. I mean, you could, I just don't possess the talent for it, you know? Okay, let's measure something here. I might want to be more symmetrical about this. Okay, so it's 7. All right, so this line here. Okay, so this way would be the middle of the path this way. Yeah, see, this is the problem. I'm gonna have to figure out how to do this better. Because this one's gonna go straight. Kind of parallel to the road, if you will. Oh! No! Wrong! So yeah, we might have to put a lot more pebbles down than I wanted to. So yeah, I've had a full day already, and it's not even, it's 1 o'clock. I'm kind of tired. There's the problem, child. You want to come say hi to everyone and tell them what a shithead you are? Come, tell them. You were so vocal a minute ago. I'm sure, I'm not sure why you're shy now. Come on. Come on, come on. I think... Oh, hang on. That may not have been what I needed to do. Yeah. Let's do that. It's just a constant, you know, switching around. All the things. Mocha, come on. Come show everybody how silly you are. I'm hoping that we can get mostly finished with this area today. maybe like hope maybe we can even finish this build today. I don't know. It's gonna be mostly like laying down plants and stuff. So that should be fairly non-taxing on the brain, you know? But then we've got to come up with another idea for the next build. And I've kind of thought about doing like a campgrounds, like a campgrounds area. Like on, like out here in the forest area. Maybe even like right in here. I don't know, like just off the train. Like the train station, we need to go back in and do something about this whole area for the train station. And of course, back behind the airport, there's just these little pockets of areas that I need to go back and do stuff with. That I was just like, we'll do that later. That's a future Sarah problem. Got a friendly in the way. I kinda wish now. Maybe I should have just used a path, you know? Like the, oh crap. What's it called? Not the rock path, although, you know what, let's test something out. Let's test something out. We need that, and then there's natural. And there's rock edge. Okay, so we've got the pebbles, which is what we've been using. We could do this. Hey, Jingle Bells, the lizard seems ineffective with the path. Yeah, they're like, this is, I'm unbothered by you, you know? Just so unbothered. Okay. So our path, I don't think I like this one at all for what I want to do. So, no. So we could do the pebbles, like the terrain. We could put down the cobblestone, not the cobblestone, but the rock pathing. We could put down a combination of the two, and this is the rock edge. I kind of wish the pebbles inside were as concentrated as the pebbles in here. You know what I mean? Yeah, see, I don't want the... What if we did something like this? And made it more random. Oh, no, I don't like that either. You like the combo? What if... Hang on. Let me grab this. What if we did something like this? Whoop. Gosh, my throat is dry. I don't know about that. No, no, no. Mistakes were made. There we go. We fixed it. Looks like stepping stones, but I'm not a fan. I think I'd almost rather this. I feel like that's going to be overpowering. I feel like in a botanical garden, you wouldn't necessarily have the big rocks to walk on. Maybe to edge things out. Right? But yeah. So, oh man, I thought maybe doubling it up. Oh, it does. Oh, it does. It does make it a little bit more. Oh, no, it doesn't. Never mind. Just kidding. That's just my imagination. All right, let's go in a straight line. These frillies and these echidnas are always in my way. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. Yay. What about the rock edge along the side? Yeah, it doesn't do like a rock edging like you would think. Because I did that earlier, like I demonstrated that, and it just makes a really skinny version of this. Unfortunately. Excuse you. So people can go this away. No, I don't like the way that's too wide. Well, that's not. Go this. Hey, Dee. You had to run off. Aw. Well, that's okay. You're back now. How is life been treating you? How goes it? We're just doing the most boring part of this, I think. And that's laying down the path so we know where to go. Like where to decorate, you know? Although I want to round it out. I don't want it to be such a hard edge. I'm picky. I know. You're like, Sarah, come on. It's not that serious. Hey, Jeff, welcome in. You're enjoying the video shorts? Well, good. They're meant to be for funsies. Mom's in the hospital because her body is retaining a ton of fluid. Oh, no. Brought her on Wednesday to the ER. She finally got a room. 14 hours later, I would have rioted. Oh, my God. What the heck? 14 hours later? What on earth were they doing? They better had a life flight, like a bus accident or something. Okay, so we're gonna go like this. We're not sure how long she'll be. She has stage 4 kidney failure. They might give her dialysis. Oh, no. Oh, Dee Dee, I'm so sorry. That is no good. I'm so sorry. Okay, so 1, 2, 1, 2, This is 1, 2, 3. Maybe it's fine. I'm overthinking it. Let's fix something. Like the time of day. Yeah, medical stuff is no bueno. 14 hours. Oh my gosh. Actually, you know what we might do? We might have... The animals aren't Pokemon. Don't try to fight with them. Don't worry. I'm not interested. I'm busy. I got things I'm doing, you know? Yeah, that is just... Ugh, the worst. I'm so sorry for you, hun. You know what I think I'm going to do? Hang on. No. Are you in Canada without wait time? Oh, are you in Canada with wait time? I didn't think y'all had the same... I feel like that sounds like a U.S. Wait time situation. It's pretty rough around here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I brought up my Switch so I could play ACNH. I'm moving to school. Moving the school I built. Ooh. Nice. That seems cool. Okay, so we're circling back around. This way, maybe? Yeah, we were on the waiting room for 5.5 hours. I guess the city hospital 2 miles away had a 16 to 48 hour wait. Ugh. That's the worst. The worst. Okay. I think last week y'all said to leave all this so that the elevation change would be kind of a fun little thing to do. But I'm already kind of regretting my life choices here. Get out of the way. Feel free healthcare, but can take forever to get the test and such. Ugh, yeah. They just needed a clean bed for her upstairs. She had a bed in a private ER room. Got it. So it wasn't like she was out in the waiting room with the mass amount of people, right? I don't think that the time limit is any quicker here, T-Bird, than in Canada, because I know 20 years ago, I had to go in for some specialized testing. My doctor found something and she was like, oh, you need to go in and have this image and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, great. They couldn't get me in for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And I was just like, what am I supposed to do? Like, just wait around and think I have cancer this whole time? Like, what's going on? And basically they're like, yeah. So I don't think it's any better here. Like, you have to wait. I have to wait just as long. I was shocked. I was like, months? Like, literal months before I could get in to get the scans that I needed. It's just like, okay, cool. Okay, this is not it. There we go. Wait a second. I should just, I tell you what. Let's just take this up. That doesn't make any sense. What was I doing? Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, long story short, turns out everything was fine. It was just, no, thankfully that would have been horrible. Yeah, waiting out in the waiting room for that long, I would have been, somebody might have died. But yeah. And I don't really think anything is that different today. I also had to have an MRI a few years back, and to schedule that, you know, that took it took about a month to get in there as well. Okay. I guess we could have made that more jagged. I won't see it until I sleep, unfortunately. Okay. All right, so I think I kind of like I need to almost get in a helicopter and like just see what's what. They say things are so fast here in the US with that kind of stuff, but really the thing is if unless it's an absolute emergency, it's not. It really is not. One of the nurses from the ER was just walking by our room. He came in and gave Mom a little dance. Aw. Okay, I don't hate it. I was wanting it to be more circular. I don't know how to make that happen. I'm kind of tempted to take this up and fix all that. Whoops, damn it. How do I do it? It's one of the, it's one way to wake up from a nap. I know. Well, hey, at least I got a sense of humor, right? I could do, this is what's tripping me up, I think. I want, hang on. Let me get a shovel, a different shovel that doesn't have a pile of pebbles in it. Let's do it. Oh God. I wish that this pebble thing hadn't been a terrain. I wish it had been a path. This is such a pain in the butt to do this. Okay. All right. Okay. I want it to have a... It doesn't have to be perfect, but I think I would like it better if it made sort of a pattern from the sky. Does that make sense? Okay. So hang tight, friends. You know, this hurts my brain a little bit. So it is okay. So we've got the botanical garden over here. This is going to be like the walking trail, and I'm gonna plant all the flowers and plants in the game in a certain way, and that way, oops. Ooh, that's maybe a little too much. You know, so it looks like a really overgrown, lush, like botanical garden. Okay. And there we go. Boop, 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 boop. And so you'll come in here. Yeah, this is the more like very like fancy side. Maybe you rent this side to maybe this side is rented to like for weddings and stuff, right? And then over here is just a really nice natural part of it all. This way. Okay, so I like that. I should have done 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now let's go over here and yeah, okay. It's hard doing diagonal. Yes, hard. Okay, so I think what we'll do is take it back. Ooh, come on. Okay. Let me do this one more time. There we go. Now it should work, numbers wise. Anyway, we'll see, I guess. Nope. Okay. Getting too dark. Okay, I think that makes sense. And that'll kind of match the other side. And then we just have to go over here and do the same thing. So be and do. Well, actually, if that matches over here, it doesn't have to match the front necessarily. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, Rebecca! How's it going? I tell you what, let's sleep and see what it looks like on the map. Boom. Sleep until tomorrow. How's it coming in Palia? I assume that's where you are. Can't be working in the rain. How come that path did not show up? Ah, there we go. Okay, I see. See how janky it is here? Yeah, we gotta fix that. Janky, janky. Janky, janky. So. We'll just... Oh, I thought that was gonna make them, like, mad at me. Ooh. Oh man, I'm sad. Oh, sad. Okay. Do this. Pop this in. All right. It requires math, y'all, and I obviously don't math well. You know. Oh, hang on. Wait, is that right? We want that? I have such a hard time with this. I feel like, though, that angles in more than it did. Most exciting stream ever, right? Figuring out pathing. Gosh, darn it. Like, truly. 2. Okay, so maybe... Hey, Steph, how's it going? Oh, wait, I forget. I'm mad at you. You and your worm face stuff. Wormy face nonsense. Okay, maybe I take these out. How's it going, Steph? Have you been playing the Palea update? So maybe that'll look less janky? You know, I can't really, like, do this at an angle on elevation. Okay. It's going. Girl, I hear it. I hear ya. You know what? I think we're just gonna go with this. Yeah, I think we're gonna go with this. I should pull this over here and make, I think these are water boxes though. Yeah. Make it go down in here. The only problem with that is I would have to bull the river over and do this part, because if I wanted to put a bridge over this, maybe we put a bridge over this. Yeah, we'll cross that. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Hang on, I just don't like the way this is looking. Hey, Hunter, how's it going? How are ya? Okay, so 1, 2. So what we might need to do is just dig out this part. I feel like I have the worst posture ever right now. I'm all like hunched over in concentration. Hmm. All right, I tell you what. Let's round out this area and make this more elevated back over here. And shave off this side. Because I'm having a hard time making this curve work, you know? I mean, let's be real, I have issues regardless of what's going on. But, like, especially with this sort of thing. Although, it's going to make it real flat right there. Bum, 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 bum. Okay. I am so freaking tired, but I feel like really accomplished. I got a lot of the things done today I needed to get done, so that's always nice, right? Like when you can get that stuff handled. Now I feel like I have the rest of the weekend to just chill if I wanted to. I mean, let's be real, there's always stuff to do, but it's nice. It's nice to have a bulk of the have-to stuff. I have to get this done kind of thing. Okay. I'm gonna run into the same problem over here that I had here. Okay, I think that'll work. There. Nope, okay, it lines back up. I will have to fix this. There we go. Okay. Who knew laying a path for this stupid thing would be as difficult as it has turned out? All right, ramps. Ramps. Okay. Glow buttons. All right, I think that'll work. And we might need to fix this one over here a little bit. I realize that part of that is my doing. Let's see if I can't make them look a little better, you know? Okay. 2. Yeah, see, we're getting real close here. So, hey, sir, you're in my way. You and all your friends today are just trying my last nerve. There we go. I feel like that will look better overall. I'm sure y'all are like, oh my God, it doesn't matter. But it really does. These things are important. I took my van to the mechanic for a few issues. I thought it was a problem with the suspension and brakes and the check engine code. Did they figure it out? Okay. Boop, 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 boop. I think that works, y'all. Nothing wrong with the suspension, and check engine light is off, so he can't check for a code, just needs front brakes. That's not too bad. I'm never going to get this to my satisfaction, I guess. So I'm just going to leave it. That's always a good news. I actually had to have my brakes replaced recently. And I had a friend of mine who, his hobby is he works on cars. Exactly. He likes working on cars and doing, like, you know, maintenance-y type things, and he was like, well, I'll because I had been told I needed new brakes. He was like, well, I'll do it for you. And it turns out all I needed was brake pads. I didn't need rotors, which, you know, for those of you, those are the more expensive of the things that you need. Okay. Now, I think I'm going to leave it tropical grass up on the top there. And maybe right around the, this, but then I think the rest of it will be fur. The pads and the rotors, yeah. It can be a little pricey when you have to do both. I got lucky. And I was like, well, first of all, I don't really... Until I had to start sharing with Megan, I didn't really drive my car that much. And so, you know, I can get away with a lot longer periods in between maintenance-y type things like that. I mean, I go get my oil changed every 5,000 miles. I get my tires balanced and rotated every 5,000 miles. Yeah. Yeah, I got out of it for $100. I got the brake pads on sale, and he only charged me like 50. Thank God. He only charged me 50 to put them on. That was nice. I appreciate that. Okay. All right, so I'm thinking, yeah. Let's do the fur grass here in the front. So I'm thinking the next creative build should be like a really cute and elaborate campground. I'm thinking summer camp. Right? And I was telling everybody earlier, like maybe putting it out here. Obviously, we'd have to turn all this back to dirt. Unless we... Because I did fill that in. That used to be all water, if you can't tell. and do like a fun summer camp situation. Since we've got those tents now. And we could also do cabins. You know, we could actually like dirt print like our own cabins and things like that. What do you think? That might be kind of fun since we're going into summer, you know, summer camp. Here in the US, in the Northern Hemisphere, we're going into summer. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna end up using all this seed. Actually, yeah, you know what? We'll just do it. We'll just go for it. And then I'll mow, and then I'll probably place item a lot of things so that way I don't, or copy paste from other places. Now that we've got the copy paste pad, I like that. Ooh. Fire seed. Wrong fur. Oh my god. But yeah, I was thinking summer camp. We have like a main house, you know, we could build, dirt print something that's like a main cabin. You know, the activities cabin where all the things happen, the mules. Did anybody go to summer camp when they were a kid? Was it just me? I went to sleepaway camp starting when I was 9. It was just a few hours away from like where we live. But it wasn't a very pretty campground. I've been to others. It wasn't the summer camp I went to, but I've been to other camps where it was a lot prettier than the one that I went to every summer. And the one I went to was associated with a particular organization that I was a part of. And so that was their campgrounds, basically. That wasn't very cute. But they had this, like, one main meeting building where all the meetings happened, you know, or activities, like big group conference things. And then there was, like, an air-conditioned, like, mess hall kitchen thing. And then you had little cabins, and then there were places for people to, like, actually camp in tents or RVs. I could show you all my Grand Canyon build on my other island, and we could kind of take some ideas from that. Oh, and it's all the grass. Grass, so much grass. It was a church camp, so, you know, it was definitely... It would have been nice to go to, like, a camp like the one in Parent Trap. You know, where the girls meet each other for the first time. Something like that. That looked a lot prettier. You know, it had this big lake and all these little trails and hiking trails and things. Now, there was one that we went to with my church youth group where it was out in the middle of the woods. And I actually liked it better just because of the way it was, like, laid out. And it was all trees. And the one that I went to every summer, there weren't very many trees. Honestly, it was just basically like an open with buildings on it. I mean, there were some trees here and there, don't get me wrong, but it was not great. This may have been a mistake, me doing all this, but because I probably will need to fill back in some places. I'll mess up somewhere, you know, it's inevitable. Yeah, I don't think, other than the campground for the Grand Canyon build, I don't think I've done really anything like that. So I think that would be fun. We could do like a mountain lodge type main building, kind of like what I helped Celestina make. Do it a little differently though. especially now that we've got access to different things. And then have like little cabins and then the tents. We'll have like a lake for boating. My mom's kidney doc just came in. He's pleased with the progress of the Lasix, so she's getting rid of the fluid. He wants her to stay until Monday. Well, that's not too bad. I mean, it's not great, but it's not bad. Hey, Diana, how's it going? Welcome. Happy Friday to you. All right, let me... So here I've grassed and laid a path for the last, like, this first hour. That's pathetic. I'm so sorry, y'all. Oh, dear. And I'm also dealing with a tremendous amount of back pain these days. Super fun. Oh. Okay, let's go get that mower. And add... Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Ads suck. I know. Everybody hates them. My daughter gifted me YouTube Premium, so I actually haven't had to watch a YouTube ad in like forever. And it's been really nice, I'm not gonna lie. Okay. Let's get our SB mowing on. How about it, folks? It's gonna be great. Once I kind of get on a path, I'm usually okay to just leave it. What was the white and blue building? White and blue building? Right there? Oh, that's part of the botanical garden. It's just like, you know, I modeled it after, I showed everybody pictures as I was building it. I don't have access to them at the moment, but, there's this, botanical garden in New York that was shaped similar to that. It was all glass. It was like almost like a giant greenhouse in a way. I was like, ooh, that'd be perfect for a botanical garden. So that's what we did. And I don't necessarily have to mow this because I'm going to try to place stuff in every single square. But just in case. Oh, man. No. Thanks. Enjoying a quiet before my mother-in-law gets here. Uh-oh. Is that not good? No bueno to the mother-in-law. Is she one of those, like, monster-in-laws? That's always unfortunate, isn't it? Does anybody watch the saga of Shauna the mom? She does these skits where she plays all the parts. And the biggest one here recently has been about the one character, Jennifer, her upcoming wedding, but her daughter's first birthday party, and her mom, and how toxic she is. And I was just thinking, man, that would be a mother-in-law from hell. The way this woman behaves. And it's what's hilarious is it's like the same person playing all these parts. Oh, mother-in-law is insane. Oh no. What is it with that? Like, I don't know. I think that whole boy mom thing is really gross. Like, they're just a different breed, you know? There's this one woman I met at a week-long photography school that I went to several years ago. Because I haven't done photography as a career in, 6 years. But she had 3 boys, and she was all like, hashtag boy mom on everything. And I was just like, your future daughter-in-laws are going to hate your guts. Shauna is amazing. Didi, you watch Shauna? Yay. I also love the nursery nurse. Charlotte is great there too. I don't know that I've seen that one. I'll have to look into it. I'm too invested in Shauna, the Shauna universe, the Shaunaverse as they call it. And I don't know if I could get into any more dramas. It's like a sitcom every week. Well, not every week because she doesn't release stuff every week, but it's like, what drama with this fictional family are we gonna have to endure? Okay. Here we go. All right, I think I'm done with the mowing. But like, they're weirdly obsessive about their male children, and like hate their wives. She's British. She's running drama, but also nursery drama. Okay. It's like, I don't know. It's just weird. She is a lot, but only a short trip. My boys graduate on Monday. Ah, okay. Well, that's, sounds like she's an involved grandma. So there are worse things, I suppose. And if you only have to do it for like a few days, that's fine. It'll be fine. I don't have one of those anymore, so I just have a crazy mother and stepmother. Okay, I'm gonna lay down the tropical grass here. I'm also gonna mow it because I do strategically want to place things. I don't want this to grow up there on the hill. That's fine, but like everywhere else, no. Ooh, let's look at our map. Ooh, it's gonna be pretty. So pretty. When we lived near here, one year we had her over for Christmas. I was cooking. She showed up with a ham in case I didn't cook enough. Ow. To me, if somebody invites me to their house and they're like, I'm cooking, and I don't have to bring anything, I'm showing up with a smile on my face. I'm gonna be grateful that I didn't have to do any of that nonsense. You know what I mean? Like, what? I'm telling you, they're a weird breed. I also, like, you've got these people who are obsessed with their sons, right? Like, boy mom this, boy mom that, whatever. And I'm not saying every mother who has sons is like this. No, there's like, it's like a certain Venn diagram of people, and I haven't quite figured out all the psychology of it, but it's like there's something there, There's like, can't quite put my finger on it, but there's a connection here. But like one of the ladies I work with, she is obsessed with her grandchild. Okay, she has just the one. And I'm not saying, like, my grandparents loved me and my brother and did stuff for us, and like they taught us a lot of life skills and different things. Like, I got nothing wrong with grandparents being involved in their grandkids' lives. But she is like weirdly possessive of him. Like, it's her baby, not her daughter's, hers. Hey, Bama, how's it going? Welcome in. And she'll say as much, like, he's mine, and refers to him that way, and is just obsessed. And she's always telling me, you just don't know. You just don't know what it's like. When you become a grandmother, it's like a love you've never understood. And I was just like, if you talked about your children that way, you might have a better relationship with them. Like, am I weird? Is that weird? Hey, Pam. and that's not to shit on anybody here who has grandchildren and loves them and is very involved in their lives, but there's a certain level of like weird psychosis with this with her, right? Like it's just, I don't know. To me, like, I really love my kids. Like, I was never somebody who wanted to have kids, but then I had kids, and it's like, I'm glad I did, and I'm glad they're in my life. You know, I'm sure having grandchildren is a whole other level of joy. I will probably never know what that's like, and I'm super okay with that, right? Because none of my kids are really interested in having children of their own. That's fine with me. I mean, I think people should live their lives. And I'm certainly not going to put added pressure on them to fulfill some sort of thing, some dream of mine, if that's not something they want, you know? Which I don't really, like, I kind of just like, if I think about being a grandmother, ooh, that's just odd. That means I'm old at that point. And I just, you know, I already know I'm old, but like, then it's official. You know, once you become a grandmother, it's like official. You're old. So, I'm like, I don't want any part of that right now. But yeah, I don't know. I don't get that. I think that's strange. I think that's really weird. That obsessive sort of, you know, you just don't know the love until you've had a grandchild. And I'm like, I bet I do. Like, they're my kids. The Pokemon thing is nuts for sure. I know. Like, I have a son, but like, I don't, we talk like once a month. Like, I'm not going to call him every day. I'm not, you know, like, I don't, if I didn't live with my daughters, Megan would probably call me like every other day. Ava might call me like every 2 weeks. You know, like, we just like, I don't know. I like to give them their space. When she went to visit, when my youngest daughter Ava went to visit her friend in Idaho back in last year, she was gone for a week, and I like texted her twice while she was gone. I was just like, hope you're having fun, you know? And she was like, yeah, it's been great. And she would send me pictures, but we wouldn't like necessarily text. I would just be like, oh, that's really pretty. That sounds, yeah, I hope y'all are having a good day or whatever. But like, they're meant to have their own life, right? And I want to be a part of it, but I'm also not going to be like that about it. I'm not a boy mom or a girl mom. I'm just a mom who has boys and girls. Exactly. Same. Like, I have children of various genders. Boom. We're done. I don't know. People are weird. We know this. But like, yeah. So anyway, and I even told my coworker, I was like, that's weird. I'm sorry. The way you're talking just sounds strange to me. And she got offended. And I was just like, well, I don't know what to tell you, but like, I love my kids. And she was like, yeah, but it's different. And I'm like, maybe that's what. And then she'll in the same breath, like complain about the fact that her kids aren't nice to her or she doesn't have a very good relationship with her kids. And I'm like, I can't imagine why. I think for some, it's like a do-over for their own, like for their failures as a parent. Or like, you know, for me, you know, when we were first parents, we were young and poor and, you know, you can't give your kid everything you want to give them because you don't have the means or the funds to do so. And that's why I kind of like, you know, that the girls live with me now, but they're older. Like, we can go do stuff. Like, Megan got a new job. And it's like kind of like a big girl job, like a really big girl job, right? Oh, shoot. What's happening here? There we go. And so we went out the other night to celebrate her getting that job. And I think that's fun that we get to do that kind of stuff. You know, before, when I was younger and poor, you know, going out to eat was like a planned event. Like, okay, what do we have the budget for that kind of situation? But, and not that I have just an abundance of money now, but, you know, I'm a little more established. Things are a little bit better. And, you know, I'm certainly much better with finances. I was always good with money. The person I was married to was not. So, and then when you share finances, that can create some issues. I will say though, like, separating your finances and each being responsible for your own stuff, and then, you know, obviously contributing to a shared, you know, like mortgage or household bills or whatever, is a much better way to go. They do have to be their own people, especially when they're adults. I mean, my oldest is 26. My son is 24, and my youngest daughter is about to turn 18. Don't you love this mowing job I'm doing here? It's so precise. And I feel like, you know, maybe I err, and I've talked about this with my therapist. It's like maybe I've gone a little too let them have their space, you know? Like I haven't been as in their face as maybe I should have been in some cases, you know? But I hated that with my own parents, like when they tried to be all like, hey, what's going on in your life? Oof. Especially when that wasn't like our norm as a family. So as a teenager, it was like, ew, why are you like getting in my business? Our deal was I could do what I want and you leave me alone. We paid someone to mow our yard and the super mower won't start for me. It works just fine. It just hates me. Don't you hate that? Oh, why is it cutting the grass up there? I'm not up there. That's weird. Oh my God, so many poo. So many poo piles. I'm gonna give everybody motion sickness with this terrible driving job. No, 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 no. Can't have that. So yeah. Weird things that happen in life. Why am I having such a hard time with this? Okay, let's just go straight. Maybe I'm trying to do this in too big of a swath. I mean, too small of a... Woo! Let's do donuts. Speaking of donuts, I'm kind of craving donut. I'm gonna have spent most of the stream laying down a path, grassing the area, and mowing it before we get any actual work done. Jeez freaking Louise. Ugh. I am going to attempt to, you know, okay, so I have two cats that got dumped on our property years ago. They were kind of indoor-outdoor cats. They mostly like being outside, but they'll come inside when the weather's bad or at nighttime for a little while or when it's like really cold, right? And we have this catio that we put them in at night because when we first got them and they were little kittens, I didn't want to just leave them outside because we live in the woods and there's like big scary things out here. In fact, oh my gosh, you guys, like a week ago, not quite a week ago, it was like Monday. It was Monday morning. I saw a baby coyote. So yeah, that's why we didn't just leave them to their own devices, because there's like, you know, bobcats and coyotes and, you know, big scary things. We've got wild boar. Anyway, so we've got this catio that we put them in, and it just kind of became a habit. So even as adult cats, we, you know, every night I stick them in there. They're safer that way. You know, we live not too far from a very, very, very busy highway, and they do kind of venture off towards the road sometimes. And so they would get hit. You know, Megan's cat, Akira, got hit by a car because we let him out, you know, outside, and he got too close to the road and he got hit by a car. So, you know, it's just a way to keep them safe, even as adult cats. And anyway, I'm gonna I need to get another catio to put the problem child of my cat at least in there when I'm gone, or, you know, at night or whatever, because he's just not getting along with some of the other cats in the house and being a stupid head. And, you know, the ones that you can buy, which the one that I have for the other two cats is just the crappiest material, right? Very crappy material. Oh, look how pretty, y'all. Oh my God. That's lovely. I wasn't even paying attention, and there's this beautiful rainbow. What if we can get a nice screenshot? There we go. Oops. So I've kind of gotten it into my head that I want to, like, build one, because it's going to cost about the same amount of money, but it'll hold up way better, right? Thank you. So I'm going to, you know, my dad has all these power tools that of course aren't being used anymore. And my stepmom said I could have them. And I was just like, you bet your butt I'm going to use them. He's got like a skill saw and drill and all these drill bits, and I was like, I could just take the one that we've got, right, and use that as the template to do all the measuring and everything, right, and get a basic pattern, and then build one out of real wood and not like balsam wood. And make it sturdier, you know? Okay, so here is our waterfall natural pathing. Wild boar are crazy. We have a lot around us. Cats stay inside. Yep, they are mean. Oh, and they're aggressive. Like, first of all, they'll tear your yard to shreds, looking for grubs and stuff. Hey, look, it's Bruce. Hello. Okay, now I need to think about where I was going with all of this. I think up here we could have a nice like seating area here and here. And then just have lots of foliage everywhere else. I'm gonna leave the mangroves. It'll be a nice like natural fencing. It's pretty, yeah, thanks. I thought so. So I'm thinking all along this fence here of putting in, oh yeah, I was gonna put more glow buttons up here. Putting down some of those new flowers that we've got, that like the magenta pigs or whatever they're called. Like a low, because they kind of sit low, if I remember correctly. Ugh, I guess I'll pick all this junk up. The next Roo who poos in my beautiful garden is gonna get Alright, I feel like I'm sorry, y'all. Where are my cough drops when you need them? Boy. Oh, I do have one. Yay! I just have the... I just have the one, though. Oh, no. Okay. Okay, we won't need this right now, or this, or this. But, all right, let's go back to the front. And let's start there and work our way back, I think. Also, There. I'll just make this less brown. More green. Ah! Let's go. So, if things keep on track for where they currently are, wow. Maybe something went down the wrong pipe earlier. I don't know. Anyway, if we stay on the same track as I'm currently on, hopefully, fingers crossed. I should hit 3,000 subs by my 3-year channel anniversary, which is sorry, apparently I can't think and do this at the same time, which is June 15th. So today's May 15th. If we keep up the current trend, I should be there at 3,000 by June 15th. So that's very exciting. Okay, I like that. Okay, let's get the, there we go. I think we'll get some of those. Maybe we'll create a pattern where, let's go copy a bush. This one. Oh, I did not allow for lighting. It's fine. One, two. All right, so what do we think? What do we think of that? I like it. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we could put floor lights or the garden lights every so often. Okay. Oops. I don't know yet what we'll do for that. If we'll do like a special stream of some kind. Or what. I need to put my thinking cap on and come up with some ideas. If y'all have some ideas, please feel free to share. There we go. Okay. And then we'll put some lighting along the way here. All right, I'm liking that so far. And this may just be filled with plants. I'll tell you what, we're gonna bury. Where's my wheelbarrow? We're gonna bury a bottle tree. Okay. We'll need to do like some giveaways. There we go. Okay, so then we'll put stuff. We'll plant a bunch of stuff all around here. Actually, we'll do that. And actually, let's copy that and put one down here. Yay! All right, we got floor lights and we've got the garden light. So let's see what y'all think about these. We could do these every so often. I feel like this is more what you would see in a botanical garden, but... Oh, I should probably... Let me pick up a few of these and just do floor lights. I always like to put some underneath a tree. So it kind of illuminates that area underneath it. What do you think? Do y'all like the cleaner look of the floor lights, or should we do the garden light? I do like the glow button. I need to do something about all of this right here. Maybe I'll just put the fence up. There it is. I'm very tempted to take that out. Put that there. And, put it on the step. No, hang on. That doesn't look right otherwise. All right, I think I have to have a chainsaw to cut this stupid plant down. Yeah. Oops. Let's take that out. I don't know why I'm struggling so hardcore with this right now, but nevertheless, here we go. I know y'all probably never thought you'd see me do this, but I'm trying to get some natural fencing here. You like the garden lights? I definitely think it gives them more of a botanical feel than, say, the other. I mean, it just looks like something more like what you would see. Okay. Actually, and I might take some of this fence out and put some trees here. All right, where is our sleeping bag? Aha. All right, what else can I get rid of? I'm not going to need any more of those right now. Or these, or probably these, but we'll see. Okay, let's sleep. Call it a night. Yes. Let's. Ooh. The night merchant is visiting. All right, let's see if this will update. Yeah, I like that. Do. Okay. I'm gonna pick this up and maybe go put it like here. Just kind of out of the way. Yeah, I think we're gonna take up all of these. And replace them with the mangroves. Very botanical. They go good with streetlights too. That's true. I cannot believe I decided to use these. No! Oh no. Hang on. Let's fix it. There we go. We're gonna have Sunny come in and do her rock wand fencing that she does. Let's put that away and that away. All right, so the idea is up by the walkway, I have a lower plant and then like taller ones as you go through. So, hang on, let's go fix this side over here. Really's going nuts. Oh, poor river reeds. Bye-bye, bud. See ya, see ya. And is there any other? We'll put some here and here and here. I feel that that gives an adequate sort of barrier. What do you think? All right, let's go copy this one. Now the trick is to like make things look random. Ugh. So hard. Oh, that is killing me. And I may have to move these around. Oh yeah, we were going to use a bridge somewhere, weren't we? Not sure how to incorporate that. Oh, I need a grass tree. All right, let's copy one of these guys. They're so cute and tiny. Oops. They're like a mini palm tree. I love that thing. Plop, plop. Ploppity plop. I don't think I can move those with the tree pinchers though. So okay, so let's get some acacia trees. You can plant the whole tree without doing it from a seed. Yep, you sure can. It was, well, you've always been able to do it with place item commands, but not everybody likes playing with those, understandably. Especially for playing in vanilla mode. But this little copy pad that you see on the toolbar there, that is a new thing from the most recent update. And it lets you copy items and place them. Not just plants, but like anything. Okay, let's stick that there. Okay. All right, so that's the big stuff. I don't know about any of the other trees. We've got the tropical trees up there. It's a pretty nifty feature. I think personally. I need to bury some more of these big bushes. I'm trying to put all the big stuff in, and then I'll go back and fill in smaller things, because you want to layer stuff to where smaller things are in the foreground and bigger things are in the background, so that way, you know, you still see, but then you also have to vary the map too, so you can see the whole picture. Okay, so I'm gonna need the tree pinchers. And the tree pinchers make it super easy to just move trees, whereas used to we'd have to like do a whole like thing to like get that back out of there if you didn't do the right number. Okay. Let's go over here. Okay, maybe here. Oop, see, and that's too small. So, like, there's no rhyme or reason. It's just that particular square needed more, I guess. Uh-oh. Yep, that's our little trick, is to bury one of those trees to make it look like a bush, like a really big oversized bush, you know? You can do it with the acacia trees too, but they're really, then it's huge. I haven't tried it with these guys though. We should try that. I have a question for y'all. And there's no right or wrong answer. I'm just curious what people's thought processes are, right? So use that red tree. Yeah, I'm gonna try that on a couple places. Actually, right here would be a good spot to do that. I'm only gonna do 3. Let me go copy it. All right, so at work, the boss's wife, she recently got this laser treatment on her face. You know, to like make yourself look younger and all that jazz. I have no judgment for anybody who wants to do that. Like, if it makes you feel better in your own skin, like, you do whatever. It ain't gonna affect me in any way. Oh, that's cute. Different. It doesn't hide the hole as well. Hey, Jenny. But, like, you know. So anyway, she had this laser procedure done. She's had other stuff like that, you know, like the laser resurfacing and things. And she's done some Botox and whatnot. And, like, again, I don't care. You do you if you have the means to do so and it makes you happy. I say you do what you want. So it's funny that she would do all that stuff, right? And then she was talking about some mutual person that we all knew, about them having their implants taken out. Their breast implants. And the judgment about having, hey, Duchess of Games, how's it going? Kells, right? The judgment, like the snotty judgment about somebody with implants. And she's had laser resurfacing and Botox and, like, it's cosmetic surgery, right? Either way, like, you're changing your appearance. So why have an attitude about somebody who had implants? To me, they're the same thing. Am I wrong in thinking that? Like, I mean, I realize one of them you have to have surgery in order to get, but, like, you know what I mean, right? Like, it's weird. It's a weird double standard. Janine says the same thing. Well, you're a doctor, so I would expect that you would say that. Not that that's not a valid opinion. It totally, to me, they're the same thing. Like, what do you mean? But she was, like, just, you know, very judgmental and snotty about it. And it was like, she was saying how, like, the person had them in for, like, 30 years. And no wonder she was having so many health issues and yada, yada, yada. And, you know, you could debate that little thing all day long. I think Botox messes up your face, personally. And I personally would never get that done. Kells, good deal. But that's me. Like, I think if other people want to do that, all the power to them. Like, seriously, no problems. I got no issues. I just personally am not going to do it for myself, right? I feel like I don't want to inject shit into my face. I feel like that might, you know, give me some sort of weird, like, spasm or something, like I hit a nerve or something. Yeah, it's actual poison. Like, you know, and then she was talking about how just, you know, silicone breast implants, or just breast implants in general, but especially silicone, they're really bad for you and they leach things into your body and they do all this stuff and yada, yada, yada. And I'm just like, you injected shit in your face. Like, I don't think you're on the moral high ground you think you're on. You know what I mean? Like, what? I don't know. The disconnect of thinking what she had done, I guess it's a justification in her mind that what she was doing was okay, and what somebody else had, you know, wants to judge somebody else for what they did. And I'm just like, I wouldn't do any of it. But, like, you know, I'm certainly not going to pass judgment on somebody for their cosmetic procedures. Like, you do you. I just think that there's a lot of celebrities right now that have had something done and they don't look like themselves. You know, used to, they would have, like, something done and it would be, like, amazing and you couldn't tell, right? And now it's like, ooh, hun, what is this, like, where Their faces are just like, they have this really pronounced jawline, sunken in cheeks, and like their cheekbones are like out to here. It's the same. Okay, so I'm not crazy, is what you're telling me. I mean, I'm crazy in other things, but not on this particular topic. And I'm just like, some of these people don't look like themselves. And I wonder what goes through your mind when you see your face in the mirror and you think, oh, this doesn't look, and these people are beautiful. They're some of the most beautiful people on the planet, right? And they don't think they look good. And it kind of makes me a little sad, honestly. And they all look the same. I know. What is that? Buccal fat removal? Is that what they're doing? All right, Dee Dee, thanks for hanging out today. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope your mom gets to be feeling better and that they get all that stuff resolved. Thanks for hanging out with us for a little while. Like, is that what they're doing? Why would you do that? Your face looks like a skeleton. And not in a cute way. You know, man, it's not very cute. I think I wanna put one right here. Yeah, everybody looks the same. And even men are getting it done, right? Even some of the male celebrities are getting it done, and you're just like, ooh, I don't know if I like it. It looks weird. It looks weird on the women, but it also looks weird on the dudes, you know? I cannot get the right angle on this. All right, are we good with burying the things? Oh, I might put one of those other buried. Okay, yeah. All right. Let's destroy this one. Put that there. Pick this up. Put it here. Like Mandy Moore, for instance, right? I recently saw a recent picture of her, and I was like, what the hell happened? She had such a like pretty face. Oh, undo. I didn't want to do that. She looked so pretty before, and not like she's ugly now, but she certainly doesn't look unique, maybe, is the most diplomatic way to say that. There was somebody else I saw too, and I was like, woo, what is going on with that? Actually, do I want to? No. I might, but not right this second. Do I want to put this anywhere in here? Maybe I'll put it up. Oh, they look unique. They're unique new species. It's just, I don't know. It's very strange. And I feel sad for them because, like, so many of them, I feel like it kind of messed up their face, you know? And it makes you wonder what they've been told or, like, what's going through their minds. Avatar. That they would, like, stop, like, they would do that, you know? Michael Jackson. Yeah, Michael Jackson also, I mean, he had some, I think, severe body dysmorphia issues, you know? Also, he had some sort of, apparently some sort of condition, not in a cute way. He had some sort of condition where, like, his pigmentation was all messed up. And so he was trying to even out his skin tone. Oh, rocks. We should put some rocks in here. We'll sprinkle some rocks around, and then we'll go in with, like, the smaller flowers and bushes. Sprinkle a rock. Hey, Terry. How's it going? Yes, that V-word disease, whatever that is. I heard that's why he did a lot of his stuff. Is because he was trying to get his skin color even or whatever. Doesn't change the shape of your face. No, that's true. He definitely did something to his nose. Multiple times. I mean, he was probably encouraged, you know, by industry people to do that, you know. I just think it's sad. I wouldn't want to, yeah. I wouldn't want to be in that world, you know? You're good. I'm so glad to hear it. I wouldn't want to be in that world where, you know, every bit of your looks in your body are scrutinized to the point of it's just, you know, it's so harming and damaging. At one point, he and Janet looked like they were the same. They had the same surgeon. Yeah, I think I know what period of time you're talking about. It was when they did that music video together. I was like, who's who? You couldn't tell them apart, hardly. That futuristic one on the spaceship. Does anybody remember what song that was? You know what I'm talking about, though? Yeah. Let's put a single roll here. This is how you do it. Scream, thank you. Ugh, why was that so hard to remember? Jeez Louise. Yeah, that one. I'm so glad y'all know what I mean. So I don't have to think about it. Scream. Yeah, it was on a spaceship, I remember. And I remember them thinking to myself when I saw it, it was like, damn, they look the same. Like, who's who? I mean, some of that is definitely the genes of their family, but also, like, they've both had work done. Also, I've noticed, like, anorexia is making a comeback. I'm not sure why. But, like, a lot of these, like, actresses I've seen on the red carpet lately, they look basically like a skeleton. And I'm trying to figure out what the hell's going on with that. Like, what are we doing? What is that? I thought that, you know, it's like the 90s called and they want their eating disorder back. Not to joke about that, because I've known a couple people who've had that, and it's rough. That is a rough... That's rough. There was a girl I went to school with, she had bulimia, actually, and we just watched her, like, waste away. In fact, I think our school counselor, like, called her in and was like, hey, Rebecca. And I think that they got her parents involved, and were like, it was like a whole thing. She was gone from school for several weeks. So she may have gone to some sort of, like, facility to help her. I never knew for sure, but gosh, it was, and she was a pretty girl, like, but she thought she was fat, and she wasn't. She was, like, going and making herself vomit in the bathroom. She'd eat, and then she'd go vomit. I think she had both, because, well, and again, how can you believe all the rumors that you hear, especially in high school, but that was what was going on. She was doing both. I don't know. She just, bless her heart, she looked like a skeleton by the time it was over. And then she did kind of put some weight back on, and then she didn't, that was, so we were in junior high when this was going on. We were like 14. 14! She did not go to our high school. Okay. Well, either way. Yikes. So I don't know. I don't know if they put her in a special facility after that, but I did not see her again after junior high. And it's really sad that that's such a thing at such an age. Like I've never really, you know, obviously I've had issues after having kids and whatnot going, ugh, I hate the way this looks. But like it's never gotten to a point where I felt like that, you know? Mostly my laziness has saved me from a lot of things. Not to make light of it, but like, I'm too lazy to do all that. I saw an interview where Michael Jackson said due to his head catching fire at the Pepsi commercial, reconstructive surgeries caused a lot of issues. I mean, I don't doubt that either. That was apparently super brutal from everything I've heard. Like that was like, whew. He had a lot of long-term effects from that, apparently. So maybe, yeah, maybe so. He's got such a sad story. I know that there are people who have mixed feelings about him because of some of the stuff, some of the allegations and whatnot. And, you know, some of that stuff just never set right with me. I remember that. I was just a kid. It was so tragic, right? Yeah. The surgeries caused long-term complications. Damage combined with the 79 broken nose and potential lupus-related tissue issues led to significant deterioration of his nasal cartilage. So that wasn't a cosmetic surgery thing, because I thought he said he didn't like his big nose, you know, it was, you know, that was part of all of that. Makes sense. I mean, you know, so much stuff about him has been said that you kind of have to wonder how much of it's true and how much it isn't. Also, apparently, their dad was, like, super abusive. Let's go sleep. I can't see what I'm doing. He never had a childhood. No, it was stolen from him, you know. Dance, monkey dance. Make our family money. This is why I have an ethical issue with child stars. Like, there are some super, super talented kids out there, right? But where do you draw the line? In letting them hone a craft and be good at something and participate in the arts like that, but also let them be a kid. Like, is it something like where they should just have to wait until they're 18 before they can do that kind of thing? Because so many of them there's been so many like child stars and whatnot that have been exploited, and like Drew Barrymore talks about how she was doing drugs and drinking when she was like 7 years old. Add to that children on influencers channels. Oh, don't get me started. Don't get me started. I have issue with that because they can't consent, you know? And like when my kids were little, social media wasn't really a thing until they were older. And my daughter doesn't mind having her picture tagged on social media, but my son doesn't want that. And my other daughter, it's fine if it's like a family thing, but like, I just like stopped posting pictures of them. And when I did post pictures, they were private, or I would share them just with them, you know, when they were younger, because they can't. Also, there's just some super duper creepers out there on the interwebs that, you know, it's just, you don't want your child's picture to be the one they're using for something. You know what I mean? That's not good. Not good. I mean, given the gigantic pedophilia ring going on, like, whew. Kind of glad my kids came up a little before all of that, you know? I guess I should put some rocks up here. Probably. Ooh, what's happening with that? does that color look different? Okay. He said that a lot of his nasal tissue had to be removed and reconstructed so he could breathe and maximize his ability to keep singing. Oh. And see, people made fun of him for doing it for cosmetic reasons. I never really knew all that. That's really sad. Poor Michael Jackson. The FBI actually contacted us because a pedo ring tried to contact my girls. Jesus! Ugh. We had a lot of rules for our kids when they were younger and on the internet. Like, because people can pretend to be a kid and they're not a kid, you know? That's what he said in an interview anyways. How true it is, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I always just felt bad for Michael Jackson. You know what I mean? Like, actually, no. Let's just cut this down. I don't think I want it at all. I don't know. There's just something about my intuition says I don't think he was guilty of the things he was accused of. And I don't say that about a lot of people, y'all. I mean, for a lot of it's like, oh yeah, that totally tracks. Like, I don't doubt it, right? But just with him, I don't know. We had to meet in an unmarked high-rise downtown. Jeez Louise, how scary is that? That's insane, Jenny. How old were your girls? There's a lot of creepers out there. There's a, so I, actually, there's a local family who, the oldest son, he was put in jail for 10 years for having CSAM on his computer at work. Guess where he worked? Guess. Just guess. 13 and 15. Damn. He worked at a church. He kept his kiddie porn on the church computer. Can you imagine? It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. So he went to jail for 10 years. I actually, like, we knew his family, right? And then a few years ago, his younger brother got caught doing some very inappropriate things with an animal. I'm going to leave it at that. And also found some disturbing images that involved animals and children. So you never know, folks. Of course. Yeah, no. I think, so this is two brothers from the same family. The oldest brother and the youngest brother. I think the dad did something to them because I know their family and he always creeped me out. And my kids were friends with the second oldest son's daughters. And we would do pool parties and stuff. And they always were asking, you know, can your kids spend the night? And I was like, nope, 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 nope. I always went over there with them. They were never allowed to go over there by themselves. And, you know, given all the things, I was like, we're not doing sleepovers at other people's houses ever. You would never know, like, they hide it so well. Yeah, I mean, I was surprised by the younger brother who got, like, I think I knew him the best because I taught him in the homeschool co-op and he was friends with my younger brother-in-laws and my older children. You know, they all ran kind of in the same circle. We need to do something about this seating area that I talked about. So I was very not surprised, but I was just very disappointed when that came out. Okay. I can't decide because this does hang down kind of low. I'd have to... maybe raise it up. You know, I want to say Michael Jackson died around my birthday. Like the very end of June, right? I think I'm going to go with this one, even though I think it matches better than all the others. Okay, so how do I want this to set up? Well, that's the other thing, figuring out how I want it to look. Do we put like a couch, couch, couch? I don't know. Let's just, I guess, let's see. Interestingly enough, this family that had the two brothers that got caught with the child pornography were also part of the same cult that Josh Duggar and his family were in. Or are in, I suppose I should say. I feel like I should pull this up a little bit more. So that's 1, 2, 3 off. I think I need to pull it up too. 1, 2. Like that. How did you guess? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like the jokes write themselves at this point with that nonsense. Like, and then one of the other brothers was recently caught doing inappropriate, you know, one of the other Duggar brothers was like recently caught with his wife doing inappropriate things or something with children. Like, at what point do people go, okay, something's seriously wrong with this family? Like, you know? Why do we keep excusing this? Like, I thought when the whole, like, pedophile thing came out about all the people in the government, like, people would be enraged. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Mm-hmm. Well, the grandpa for sure was a pedophile. There's all kinds of stories about him and how none of the girls were allowed to be alone with him and just... Whew. I think we're finding out how many people truly don't care or in fact welcome this kind of stuff. Exactly. It horrifies me that that gets excused. Like, we're talking about horrific crimes against children and everybody's just kind of like, yeah, well, it happens. I mean, that's the prevailing idea around everybody I talk to about this. Like, just all this indifference. Like, how are we not burning the entire system to the ground after hearing stuff that's gone on? Yeah, what timeline are we living in? The girls wouldn't be alone with their own brother either. Yeah, exactly, Bugsy. Like, it's like a whole cultural disconnect. And like the Venn diagram of the religious part of it, plus the political part of it, plus the patriarchy part of it all is like practically a freaking circle. Like, ay, ay, ay. It's gross. It's so gross. And it makes me so mad. Like, given some of my childhood upbringing, it's a freaking miracle things weren't done to me. Like, I got out of my childhood mostly unscathed. They worry more about immigrants. Yeah, that's our priorities are shot to shit. They had to lock them in. I know, it's disgusting. I think people lack empathy and they don't care unless it directly affects them. Thank you, Tammy. That's exactly what's going on. Very well made point. By the way, welcome. Sorry, we're on a weird, heavy topic today, but like, I don't know, like, okay, that's not gonna work. We need, James, we need other lamps. On the road again, off to my sister's for the weekend this time, long weekend, so we're going to enjoy a relaxing long weekend here. So, oh, you're going, okay, so y'all are having like a holiday this weekend? Well, have a great trip. Be safe. Tiki lamps. Maybe I could just do, would the tiki torches work? Yeah, I think there's something, I think Tammy made a good point here. We are severely lacking in empathy in our society. Like it's quite tragic, honestly. I can always count on your streams for the heavy topics. I'm so sorry, Bugsy. You know, we have to deal with so much horrific stuff in the real world. I try not to bring that up, but like, I don't know. I feel like I feel very passionately about the whole like pedophilia thing to the point like I would commit murder to like take those people out. And it makes me upset that other people don't seem to be as angry about it as I am. Like you guys are, obviously, but in like everyday life, you know? It's because it's overwhelming part of our society has been programmed to be okay with it for years. It sells and women are wanted to look younger and younger. Yeah, I know. What do we do though, guys? What do we do to make that stop? I'll try to sneak in a bit of your streams when I can. T-Bird, enjoy time with your family and have a lovely extra long weekend. Oh, you're here for it. It needs to be talked about. Good. Well, good. I'm glad you agree because I'm just... Ugh. Like, I think most of the time people think, well, there's nothing I can personally do about it, and I'm not part of the problem, so therefore I must be part of the solution. Except that, unfortunately, if we just continue to turn a blind eye to the things that get said, like, I had the argument with one of the people that I work with, and I said, how on earth can you vote for somebody like Donald Trump and all the terrible, horrible things he's done and said? And she's like, well, he's like everybody's creepy uncle. And I'm like, I wouldn't vote for that guy to be president either. What the hell? Like... Children are not even believed when they tell anyway. I know that's... Yeah. They wouldn't be indifferent if their family was affected. But here's the problem I have with that. Why does it take someone being personally affected for them to give a shit? Why? This affects us all, you know? Floor lights. Yeah, we've tried floor lights, Dawn, and I think because this is supposed to be a botanical build, we were kind of going for, oh, you know what I should do here? I always forget about these. Let's try the stone lanterns. Ooh, I don't want that many, but okay. Welcome in. Children are not believed, and a lot of the time the mother doesn't believe their own kids. Man, my kid came to me and said that, I would burn the world to the ground. You know what I mean? I would shoot first and ask questions later. I'm so sorry, Jenny. I'm so sorry. Do we like these better than the garden light? Here, let me put out the garden lights and y'all tell me what you think. Like, I've just known too many people who've had things done to them as kids, and I got inordinately lucky that nothing bad like that really ever happened to me. And so, as far as I know, nothing's ever happened to my kids. They've never said anything to me. But for all of the friends I had growing up, for all the people I know who've been affected by something like that, it didn't affect me directly, but like I want justice for all those people, you know? The stone is better, but smelled on it. Yeah, but we're in like a walkable, and like there's still way like I haven't put in all the foliage that's gonna go in here yet. So it's part of this botanical garden over here. So like this is like the really like manicured fancy side. And then this is gonna be like a walking path, and you get to I'm gonna put a groupings of plants in like specific order so that they're kind of organized, and then like little floor plaques saying what kind of plant it is with like the Latin name, you know how you'd see in like a botanical garden. Stone ones, but one tile up with the same wood tile. You're saying dirt print these up? It's not just lacking empathy, it's the search for any instant gratification. Anything that feels good and makes you happy is the way to go. People are raised to believe they need to be always happy. Yeah, I mean, that's also a problem, I think. I don't like the stone ones. They're too big. Oh, you know what? Hang on. Yeah, that feels very true. Steph. Yeah, Diana, I thought so too. Which makes me wonder what has gone on in her family that she's excused and is okay with, you know? And when I asked her about her own grandson, that it's her grandson, it's her baby. Like, if something happened to him, she sputters and like, you know, and kind of doesn't know what to say. The lights are too low. Well, I think I'm going to just take them out entirely, and we're going to use glow buttons. Just so you know, I agree with you. No problem, Duchess. Okay, so we could do... Wait, put this up here. We could do this to kind of enclose things. But it may enclose things too much. Yeah, it is a botanical garden after all, right? So we could do something like that. Anyway. I'm mad, just so y'all know about all of that. And we'll continue to stay mad until something changes. So we could do hedges around them just to kind of make it more secluded, and we could do these creeping vines, or I could do flower boxes all the way around. Screen at the back. That is not a bad idea. Fairy lights. So let's do some fairy lights. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. I don't think I've ever been to your live before. Well, Dawn, you came in at a very weird time. Thanks for being here. It's not like this every time, but we do sometimes we'll talk about some stuff, you know, that's just, it's bothering all of us. And I might copy that a little for a pool area. Go right ahead, Tammy. All right, so do y'all like the hedge side, or do you like the creeping vine side? Because I feel like now that I'm looking at this creepy vine, the creeping vine, I'll get it out, blends in too much with the hanging vines. I like how skinny it is, but I feel like if I were using a different pergola, that might be better. What do we think? Debbie talked about, I'm glad to know we are like-minded. Yeah, I'm sure I run some people off. But I think if me talking about children being victims of horrific sexual, mental, and emotional abuse upsets you, and this is not the place for you. You know what I mean? Like, and I've had people say, well, I don't like talking about the political stuff. And I'm just like, this isn't political though. This is like crimes against humanity. Like, why are people upset? I mean, y'all are upset. You know what I mean though. Like the greater sense of the world out there, people just don't seem to care. And this isn't a political issue. If you think it's a political issue, I feel sorry for you. The cat said yes. Agree. I think uncomfortable topics have to be talked about. Uncomfortable topics are not always political. Not everything is a political discussion. Like this is something that could affect any of our kids, any of your grandkids. You know, I have to be, as a woman, as I'm sure most of you, hyper vigilant anytime you walk out your door, because at any point you could be attacked and raped or murdered. And the way you interact with men you have to be very careful, because one wrong word and you're going to set somebody off, you know? And I just feel like that's not a political statement. That's just how life is. And we need to change it. We need to change it for everybody. Yeah. And I know we do these kinds of gameplays and streams to escape all of that stuff. But here lately, I just feel like everybody in my real life ignores these things, doesn't want to talk about them. And I'm in shock that I seem to be the only one that's like, this is insanity. And so, again, I'm not going to apologize for it at the same time. And, you know, and if it's one of those things where that's a deal breaker for you, like, this is not probably going to ever be the place for you in the future. Just FYI. And I don't say that to be rude. It's just we obviously don't have the same, you know, values or ideals. And things I'm going to say are going to probably upset people from time to time. Escape can coexist with challenging things. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if every stream was like this, I would definitely be like, yeah, that's too much. Because I want to escape it too, you know? Like, I don't want to have to think about this 24/7. But sometimes it's a necessary evil. You're welcome, Jenny. You were assaulted by a man I knew for over 20 years. He was walking around enjoying life. I still have nightmares. Dawn, that makes me want to commit homicide. Like, I'm sorry that happened to y'all. I really am. I have been assaulted and touched and inappropriately in unwanted ways. And, you know, everyone around, you know, in a crowded space and the people are laughing and it's like, it's no big deal. And it's like, get the hell away from me. Like, leave me alone. I don't want you touching me. There's this entitlement, I think, that people have, especially men, to women's bodies. It's just weird. Yeah, Diana, I mean, there's too many things going on that's just, it's hard to ignore this stuff. And it's getting worse and worse. And I fear for my daughter's future and all of y'all's daughters and granddaughters' future. And, well, all of our kids, period. It really doesn't matter what their gender is. I think we're in a really dangerous time. I mean, we probably always kind of have been, but it's like, maybe in a good way, they're saying all the quiet things out loud so we know exactly what the agenda is right up front, you know? But it's horrifying that these things are being said out loud and everybody's just kind of like, okay, sounds good. What are we doing? Okay. What do y'all think? This one? Or this one? Those types of men get elected to higher office and we have to protect each other. Exactly. Like, there are people in positions of power here in my town, and I know what they get up to on a Saturday night. And they go to church on Sunday and act like these pious, godly, holy men. And the night before, they were cheating on their wives with a 20-year-old and doing all manner of God knows what. And I don't think this will resolve anytime soon. I do hope it's the extinction burst. Me too, Kels. That's the only thing that's giving me hope, is that this is like the last dying gasp of this horrific existence that we have had to live and, you know, be under. Stepdad since 9, and I finally got the courage to tell at 13 and was told I was lying. So then it was worse until you left at 17. I am so sorry, Jenny. God, that is ruined their reputation. They were more concerned. Your mother was more concerned about the reputation than the fact that you were being abused. I'll never understand that. I will never get that. If I had found out my ex-husband had been doing that kind of stuff to our kids, I would have probably murdered him myself. Like, yeah, Diana, you're right. I'm so sorry, y'all. That's just... That's not okay. It's not okay. All right, I'm going to go sleep because I can't see nothing. I would rather believe the person first and then find out later that they, you know, because most children, no, there's not a single child I've ever known who would make up, especially at 7 or 13, something like that. There's too much at risk for them, you know? Yeah, I would think so, Jenny. I agree with that. I believe that that's definitely the not being believed. And so then if anything ever happens to you in the future, you're just like, well, why would I ever bother? No one believed me the first time. Ugh. I don't even know what to say. That just pisses me off so much. I can't even... Ooh. It's making me hot, I'm telling you. Young kids wouldn't know enough to make something up unless it was actually happening to them. Yes, exactly. Exactly. That's why if a child says something to me like that, I take it very seriously. Like, whew. Girl, same. For different reasons, but same. I'm so sorry you guys have had to endure that and that you weren't believed. I mean, I hear you and I see you. That was, ugh, that's awful. And it makes me really, really mad for y'all. Like, really mad. Oh, God. Okay, so we need to do some flowers. Man, oh, man. All right, butterflies and bird of paradise. I'm going to put those up on the, where that's more tropical looking. Oh, some white hibiscus. Why they said they believed me, because I wouldn't draw. Oh, they didn't believe you. Well, I'm sorry. What person wants to draw that anyway, even in the best of times? Like, come on. What in the world? I think the reason why children aren't believed is because this problem is significantly more rampant than we ever thought. And they're all trying to protect each other. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think there's way more sickos out there than we can possibly imagine, and they're all protecting each other. At 13, I know. I mean, also, you're like 13, you're embarrassed about everything. And you're probably embarrassed that it happened, embarrassed that you have to even talk about it, embarrassed that they would ask you to draw something like that. Like, I would have been horrified. I think his family paid the judge. I wouldn't be surprised. People don't want to confront their own willingness to still work with that person so they could blame the child. Yeah. There was a local woman here, kind of unrelated to what we're talking about, but kind of not, who went on a incredibly racist tirade, and it got filmed and put on social media. And all these people that I knew, so I used to go to this salon that she owned. Well, I immediately stopped because, like, I don't abide that nonsense. Like, keep that shit to yourself. I don't want to hear it. This is, you know, at the time it was like 2021. Like, let's stop living in the dark ages, please. And I was surprised at the number of stylists who say they're progressive and they care about people, and I was absolutely like gobsmacked at how many of them just like continued to work for her even after that. We are your family, absolutely. It will never be okay what they did to you. Never. And I'm really sorry that you endured that and you felt so alone. Golly, that just makes me want to... Everybody who was involved, you know? So yeah, Kels, I think you're right. I think people are much more willing if it, you know... Because to me, if I had worked at that salon and I had seen what she said and did, I would have found another job. Like, immediately. I don't particularly like working at the office I work at because of the things that they say. And I'm actively looking for a different one just because I don't have anything in common with those people. And I don't tolerate a lot of the things that they believe in. My garden instructor at my high school in the 90s would prey on questioning young men. And because he wanted my friend, he emotionally abused me to keep me occupied. Oh. Well, you have made an incredible success of your life in spite of everything, Jenny. So I think you should definitely, I think you should give yourself a round of applause and a pat on the back because that, I think you've come a long way given how you started. The people working there already knew she was a racist before she did all that. Oh, I'm sure, I guess, you know what? You're probably right. And they gave her a pass every time. It's like a disease sometimes as well. Sometimes kids don't know it's wrong. I was assaulted as a toddler by my sister. She was assaulted by an old man at the pool. My mom wasn't watching out for us. Oh, Steph. Oh, God. You know, my mother... We have a much better relationship now. But when I was young, when her and my dad were getting divorced, she went into a very depressive and destructive state. And which I don't know why, because she didn't really love my dad. And I don't know why their divorce upset her so much. If it was just the rejection of it all and not really about him, you know what I mean? And so she was very neglectful of me and my brother when we were little and would... You know, she's bipolar. And so she would, you know, spend days sometimes in her closet in the dark, you know, listening to sad music and crying and being upset and drinking and smoking. And then sometimes she would just disappear for days on end, you know, and we wouldn't know where she went. And of course, in her mind, she thinks she was this fantastically amazing mother. And it is by sheer miracle because of the trashy, horrific people she had us around when we were little. It is a wonder that my brother and I made it out of that without some kind of trauma. More than we already had, you know? My mom got me and my sister help when we were young. Ugh. Well, I'm glad that you did get... I'm glad the situation had some positive outcome. Yes, I agree, Kels. The fact that she can even talk about it now with all of us and feel safe enough to do so, I think means that you've had a lot of healing. You know, that's a hard thing to live through. It's a hard thing to talk about. Like I said, it was a sheer miracle my brother and I were not taken advantage of and abused as children because of the terrible people she had us around. I don't remember much of it since I was so young. It did awaken things in me I didn't understand, so therapy was important. Exactly. Well, I'm glad y'all were able to have that. That's super duper important. Yep. I say therapy is important for everybody. Like, even if you haven't gone through a massive major trauma, like, I think we all could use a little help. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know? It's not weakness. It's just life is hard and there's a lot of hard things to deal with and to think about and to cope. I think all of you are amazing. I first of all, I feel honored that any of you would share what's happened to you in such a public space. But just know that saying what you've been through is maybe helping somebody who hasn't had the opportunity or the courage or the safe space to share what they've gone through. Just primary care for your brain. Absolutely. I don't want anybody to think I take that lightly. That is incredibly important to me that you guys have even felt okay to say the things you've said today. And if anybody watches this back later who's had similar experiences can feel maybe not so alone, then we've done a good thing for today. You do not blame your sister. She did not know what she was doing. Yeah. I mean, it sounded like y'all were both incredibly young and had something horrible happen to both of you. We do have an amazing community. This is a shared space for all of us. It's not just me. It's you guys as well. Like, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for y'all, you know? You know, I've shared this before. It's been a pretty dark and difficult time these last few years for me on several fronts. I've had to navigate things I was never expecting to have to navigate at this age of my life. And it's been a journey, you know? And I probably wouldn't have done so well if it hadn't been for all of you. I'm glad you did, Dawn. I mean, I think that's really important. I think unfortunately, when we don't talk about these things, the abusers, they continue to get away with what they've done, you know? And we've got to break the cycle somehow. And I'm so sorry that burden falls on y'all to be the Paul Revere's in this situation. But you're going to help somebody else not feel so alone, not feel so ashamed because this wasn't their fault, you know? So many people think it is their fault. Hey, Susan. It's going well. We're having a very serious and deep philosophical conversation, which I think is healing to a lot of people. So welcome. We started with a big old blank space and now we've got something going here. I mean, it's not quite finished, but we're getting there. It was a neighbor for me, and he abused my sister too, but nothing was talked about back then. We didn't know we were both being abused until we were in our 50s. Oh, see, this is why, God, Bugsy, I'm so sorry. This is why I always encouraged my kids. When I told them, you know, when they were little, and I was like, you know, because usually it's a family member, you know? And so I was always just like, look, you never keep secrets from mom and dad. It's always okay to talk about something, even if you feel weird. Like, this is necessary, you know, and I feel like we've always created a space for them to be able to say that. Now, was I given that space when I was a kid? No. And that's part of the reason why you want to provide it for your own children when you become an adult and have your own kids. You know, if we make this more of a normalized thing that people can talk about and not feel so much shame over, I think that maybe these abusers won't get away with it for so long and they'll be stopped so much sooner, you know? And I'm willing to go to jail to do what needs to be done to take care of some people because they just don't deserve to live on this planet. I don't know what I did in a past life that got me lucky enough to not have to experience that. At least nothing that I've ever, unless it's super repressed, you know, which is, I suppose, very possible. I hear people talk about their experiences, and I think given everything, I was incredibly lucky. It was more as a teenager and an adult that I experienced those kinds of things for the first time, and it was shocking because I was at church. Of course, it's always at church, right? And I was like 14 or 15 years old, and I had just kind of really started to like have a shape. And the grown men that would make comments about that was, and to me that I mean, I wasn't being touched necessarily, but it was like the looking and the commenting. And it was like, why are you even talking about this? You know, you're a 50-year-old man and I'm 15 years old. You could be my dad or my grandfather in some cases. Growing up in the 50s and 60s, these things were just not talked about. Yep. Unfortunately, yes. All right, we're going to go copy another bush and sprinkle that around. And then as an adult woman, I can't tell you how many times I was, you know, grabbed, pawed, touched in a way that I didn't want to be. And some people got smacked, you know? Like, I hit back. We're all retired now from teaching, but every marching band, drum corps, and guard person my friends and I meet is told about the abusers we interacted with. Good. Let's put their names on blast. They deserve to live an uncomfortable life going forward. My stepdad's brother told me that he believed me, but that he would put his life on the line to keep him out of jail. Why? Who does that help? The thing is that it is unbelievably common, and so I think people just brush it off. I think our society's secret pleasures are more important than lives are. Yeah. I'll say this, if anything ever happens to one of my girls or my son, that person will not be breathing ever again on this planet. And if I go to jail over it, that's fine. I don't, nope. Nope. Yep, I think the fact that it's become so common that people do brush it off, like, makes me, that adds a whole other layer of anger I can't even talk about. Like, I don't know. I don't even know. I had a different idea when I started all this, but now that I'm going, I'm kind of like, you know what? I feel like this is maybe the better way to go. So we're gonna keep going with this for now. Well, I'll say this, it's never gonna be normal to me. It's not any story I've ever heard has just ripped my heart out, you know? And maybe it's, you know, because I have too many super duper, I experience other people's emotions, you know, to some extent. And that can be good and bad in some ways. It just, oh. You can become president of the United States, so where does it stop? I know. You can be a felon, a rapist, and a pedophile and still be the leader of this country, and people are just like, whatever. That's why when all this stuff keeps coming out about the Epstein's Island and all the things that were done and how often and how many and the ages, like, I should be shocked. I should be shocked, but I'm not, because it's just like, yep, that sounds about right for these kinds of people. It was well known my guard instructor did that stuff and people still hired him to teach kids. Mandated reporters, hiring someone known to abuse children. I hope there's a special level of hell or whatever punishment in the afterlife, if there is one, exists for people who sat by and let these things happen and shrugged their shoulders and said, well, there's nothing I can do. Get wrecked. One of my friends, we were in 5th grade, and she came to me and she said that her dad had been inappropriate with her. And I was still pretty innocent. And so I wasn't really sure what that meant. And so I asked her questions, and she kind of didn't want to talk about exactly the details of it all. You know, because we were like 9 or 10. And, you know, there's a lot of things you just don't understand at that age. And anyway, she was so upset by it. She was like throwing up, you know. She came to school and was so upset, and I sat there with her and I didn't know what to do, you know. I knew something bad had happened, clearly. She was having an experience that I had never witnessed before in another human being at that point in my life. And so I was like, we need to go tell somebody, you know. If this is happening to you, we need to tell somebody. This isn't okay. This isn't right. And she was so terrified. I mean, she was worried about what's going to happen to her dad. And obviously, you know, because there's that weird dichotomy in your mind of like, you love your parents and you love your dad, but even if they're doing something bad to you, you know what I mean? There's like this weird, and I think that's what she was experiencing. And I was just like, we've got to tell somebody. Even at 10 years old, I was like, no, we can't not hide. And she didn't, for the longest time, she didn't want to. And then by the end of the day, I think I had her like, okay, we do need to talk to somebody. I said, it's, you know, this isn't your fault. Whatever happened, this is not your fault. And of course, this was the 80s. So it wasn't much better than it is now, you know? And so I went with her when she went to the school counselor to say something, and I sat outside the office, and they eventually told me I needed to go back to class because they were going to call her mom, and it was like a whole thing, and she had to go into like a placed foster care for the night because she couldn't go back home to her dad. I mean, it was like a whole thing. And I will never forget that experience. It wasn't happening to me, but she was my best friend, right? And there was just so many, no wonder kids don't say anything, because it was such a scary experience for her. She got taken out of her home, which, you know, if you're in an abusive home, it is probably safe, but it's also scary for you as a 9-10-year-old child to be taken away from the only life you know, the only people you know, and placed with strangers who, I mean, let's be real, unfortunately, in today's world, sometimes aren't any better than the house you came from, you know? And her mother didn't not believe her, but her mother was also like, this just kind of came out of nowhere, you know? And so, yeah, I kind of saw it from several angles as a young kid. Like, this was it was crazy. It was a friend in middle school that encouraged you to tell. Good. Ugh. And the thing is she was able to go back home, and after the investigation, like the dad, I can't remember exactly. I think it wasn't that she misconstrued something, but like, and he had kind of been like a little like overly like borderline, like not abusive sexually necessarily, but like just, it probably could have gone that way as she got older. Do you know what I mean? Like it was sort of like an early grooming thing, if I'm not mistaken. It's been almost 40 years ago. I don't really remember, honestly. Oh crap. Isn't that sad? Like I remember some details about it so clearly, and others are very blurry and foggy. And it didn't even happen to me, you know, it was a friend. But I get why people don't say anything. You know, it becomes this whole ordeal, and then all this attention is on you, and suddenly everything you say is being scrutinized, and, you know, are you trustworthy? And I was like 8.5 months pregnant with my son, and I had gone to Sam's to stock up on some things. I was nesting, as they say. And this guy came up to me, and he acted like he couldn't speak English and kept like motioning, trying to get me to tell him the time. And so I told him the time, and then he kind of kept encroaching on my personal space. And I was like, you need to go, you know? And so then he walked off, and then I went over to the produce section, and I was doing something, and he came up to me, and he like just starts he put his hands on my stomach and just starts rubbing. And so I like pushed him away, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I don't know you, like, dude. And he's speaking in a different language, and he wouldn't, you know, speak English. And I was like, I think you know what I'm saying. And he kept doing this, right? And so he kept following me around the store, and I finally got super loud with him. I went to turn down this one aisle, and he was following me, and I turned around and I said, you need to leave me alone. And I said it really loud. And there was an older couple at the other end of the same aisle, and the gentleman in that couple, the older gentleman, he starts walking towards me, and that guy who had been bothering me hightails it out of there, and he's like, are you okay? And I just like start crying because I'm like hugely pregnant, and I was like, that guy was like assaulting me basically, and he wouldn't leave me alone. And he said, well, maybe, you know, go tell the manager, and like, you know, maybe like send somebody else to come do your shopping, you know? And I was like, yeah, you're right. Like, I need to get out of here. So I go check out, and I was telling the checkout girl, I was like, can you get the manager? And like this guy assaulted me or whatever. Not assaulted me, but he was like, kept touching me and wouldn't leave me alone. And I don't know if he was doing something. I can't remember what happened. He wasn't there. And I was just like, you know what, screw it. I gotta go. I don't want to be here. Like, I feel unsafe. And so I made the mistake of walking out of the store without having someone escort me to my car. And he was waiting out in the parking lot. I didn't see him at first. And so I was like very hurriedly trying to get all my stuff in the trunk of the car so that I could just leave and be done with the situation. And he comes making a beeline for me. And I immediately like close the trunk and go, and I opened the door, my driver's side door, and it blocked him from getting to me, really, because there was a car parked next to me, and he was on the other side of the door. And the parking spaces were, you know, so close together that he couldn't get around my door. And he grabbed my arm, and he starts jerking me, like trying to get me around the door. Well, I'm like massively pregnant with my second child, and I'm having like a panic attack at this point. Like, this person's trying to basically like traffic me, I think. And I'm like, I'm screaming at him, leave me alone, leave me alone. And it starts, I think, like getting other people's attention. I was able to yank my arm out of his grip, get in my car, and slam the door. And the first thing I thought of was, I called my husband, and I was like, do I need to drive to the police department? Like, what do I do? This guy's following, because he went and got in his truck, and he was started to follow me. He said, no, come home. I'm going to call the police on the landline. and stay on the phone with me. And so I'm driving to our house and I said, Ben, he's right behind me. He's right behind me. And he said, run the light so he can't follow you. And so I did and almost got hit. I got home. I'm shaking. My blood pressure's through the roof. The police come because, you know, Ben had called them while I was, you know, driving home, you know, on the other line with him. And this old cop and this young cop come together. The young cop was a guy I actually went to high school with. The old cop, I don't know if someone pissed in his Cheerios that day or what his deal was, but he basically acted like everything was my fault. And, well, what were you doing? Why would he follow you? Like, he kept looking at me like, well, you're pregnant. Why would, you know, like, nobody's going to be attracted to a pregnant woman. And I'm like, I don't think it's about that when they're trying to assault you. You know what I mean? It's like some weird power trip. And anyway, he was an asshole, complete and utter asshole. Basically was just like, you know, like most people are when you tell him something. Well, at least he didn't rape you, basically was what he said to me. Because they asked me all those questions. And I was like, no, obviously, I told you what happened. But that doesn't mean any, like, you know, and then the guy was like, are you sure you're going to be okay? Like, you look like you're about to pop. Like literally every wrong thing you could possibly say to a pregnant person who just got assaulted by some stranger in a store. And looking back on that, I was 23 years old, you guys. So I look back on that and I go, I would have done things so differently now. But at the time, I was worried about my kid. And so I was worried about my baby. I was worried, you know, like I went into like this weird primal survival mode of not reacting in a way that I feel like I would now, or if I hadn't been pregnant necessarily. Because I'm a vocal person when it comes to stuff like that. Like, you ain't gonna get away with that kind of thing with me. And I don't know. It was a very demeaning experience because the older cop was just kind of like, well, basically, we're not going to investigate this because nothing really actually happened to you, you know? And the younger cop seemed apologetic, like he was obviously in training, perhaps. You know, this was his, you know, trainer or whatever. And he just kind of looked at me apologetically like, I'm sorry, you know, and they never did anything. They never followed up. We even had the guy's truck and description number. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. That's the closest I have come to anything like that ever happening. And I was 8.5 months pregnant. I had to go to the doctor because they were worried that I was going to, like, my blood pressure was going to get too high with the stress of the situation and everything. It turns out everything was fine, but it was just like, it was one of the scariest things I'd ever experienced up to that point in my life. You know, like this person was trying to physically remove me from my car. And I was yelling, you know, and nobody was really coming. Like there's people that were in the other parts of the parking lot that they were kind of like looking over, like what's going on, but they didn't do anything. And now whenever I hear any kind of like struggle like that in a parking lot or anywhere out in public when I'm, you know, somewhere, I'm like what's going on, you know, and I go investigate it because like, you never know if somebody's in trouble. And also while I was nothing really ever happened to me. Okay. I got out of that with no real emotional damage to the sense of being like, you know, raped or whatever. The not being, the cop just dismissing it like it was no big deal is, you know, another reason why this kind of stuff makes me so angry. Rachel, I fully believe conversations happen for a reason. I'm fully in the middle of a tattoo. My neighbor is an artist and we had to stop because a girl threatened his son, elementary school. Oh my God. Bugsy, I know you would. You'd have beat the shit out of him. I bet you would have. You are one tough grandma, and I know you would have my back. She is not being removed from the school for any length of time. I would be up there. Woo! Somebody's tires would get slashed. Hi. Old school way of thinking. What are you doing? So gross of that cop. Yep. I I was pregnant, for God's sake. You would think there'd be some sort of like, oh, this poor pregnant woman, you know? Nope. Just kind of, wow, you're being hysterical. Like, they could go to Sam's and see from the security footage that I was being followed by this guy in the store and that he tried to follow me in his car, his truck, which I had a very good description of and partial license plate. Didn't matter. Did not matter one bit. Hey, King Mac, welcome in. Yeah, I mean, it was just like, yeah. And I was so angry with myself after it all. Once I calmed down from it a few days later and was like looking back on it, I was just like, what was wrong with me? I should have picked up the first possible weapon I could find and like beat the ever-loving shit out of that guy. Like, the cops and many men have never had to experience that level of threat. No. And so to them, I was just being this hysterical pregnant woman wanting attention or something. Both parents are up there. They called the sheriff's office. I offered to bring feral anti-energy. Yes. Tell him we'll all come. I don't even know who this is, but I'm coming. Well, she was just joking. You know what? These days, with things being the way they are, we don't joke like that. I got questions why I don't wear leggings out any longer because I got followed around in a liquor store and then followed home. Only women seem to understand that type of threat. Yeah, here's the thing, back when my husband and I were together, I would wear certain outfits with him out in public, but never if I went out alone. And now, I don't really ever leave my house, but when I do, I look as gross and disgusting and bridge trolly as I possibly can and as frumpy as possible so that they don't look two ways at me. You know what I mean? Like, I want to become invisible because it's just scary otherwise, you know? No, unfortunately, I don't think they have. But he would always ask me, like, why don't you wear that when you go do blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I don't feel safe. And I feel like, you know, he did a better job than most of trying to understand that. But even still, it was just like, it's crazy. Even in broad daylight, so I park my car. Our parking lot at my work is so weird, and it's one of the worst parking lots I've ever been in. And this time of year, it starts to get really hot. So we have this wooded lot kind of behind our office that my boss, the dentist next door, and like one other person, we all park back there in the shade because I don't like getting into a car that's like boiling lava hot in the middle of the summer. And here in Texas, that's pretty like important. And even when I go out for my lunch break at 1 o'clock, I'm like looking around and like making sure there's nobody out there because like you just have to always constantly be on guard. When I go out for a run or the trail, I usually send my partner my location so he knows where I am just in case. You are braver than me, my dear, because I won't go to any of those places without another person with me. Too many creeps these days. Susan, absolutely. Too many creeps these days. Too many creeps. Well, I feel like, I don't think there's it's an any greater frequency. I think they feel a lot safer to just be out in public with their creep. You know what I mean? They're very upfront now. Whereas before they would hide it a little. And I don't think now they do. I think they are very... They're a lot more brave of being out and exposing themselves for that. I'm like, well, how many plants are in this game? I haven't put all of them out yet. I can tell. I think they feel a freedom these days to be a lot more out there, and so it just seems like there's a lot more, but I think that they've always been that way. It's kind of like the racism thing. I had a friend who's not white kind of educate me when I made a comment, you know, just like, I thought it was an innocent enough comment. I wasn't, you know, wasn't trying to be dismissive, but I was just like, you know, I feel like recent years, you know, racism has just become a big thing again. And she was like, honey, it's always been this way. You know, they just kind of got quiet about it for a while. And now they have permission to be loud again. And so they are. And she wasn't rude about it or anything, which she could have been, I suppose. But it was like, that's your white privilege, you know, not having to see it happen all the time. And to me, it did seem like here in the last 10 years, it's gotten a lot worse. But that's probably because I'm paying attention to it now, where I wasn't before, because it wasn't something that I just thought, well, this is getting better, you know? So I think there's a lot of the things that we think are getting worse. I think they were always there. I think that people are they feel freer to say and do. They used to hide it better. They used to hide it. I think they don't have to, they feel like they don't have to hide it now. There's too many people in power that get away with being that way. And so they think, well, I don't have to be accountable for my actions either. And sadly, that seems to be true. All right, let's get a bush. In some ways, it's probably good that they're not hiding it anymore. Because then they're letting us know exactly who they are, and so we have a better, you know, we can act accordingly. I've just put greenery out. I realize I haven't really put many flowers of color out here. I'm gonna have to remedy that. And that they may be for the reason for all the mass shootings, they want to be open in public. I wonder what in 20 or 30 years when they do some mass psychological survey of all of that, what the findings are going to be. Like, I realize there's a mental health crisis in our country because this isn't a problem anywhere else but here, right? And so there's something seriously wrong with the mental health of the people in this society. But like, what is it? Nobody feels seen? Is it like is it the whole gamut of things? Like, hi, Lynn, welcome in. I've never been okay with people being talked about like that. Just because somebody's different from me doesn't make them less, you know? And even as a kid, I never could understand, like, a lot of my good friends in school were non-white people, you know? I think different strokes make the world go round. And if we were all the same, it'd be super, super boring. So I'm not threatened by people who are different than me or have different cultures than me or have different foods and languages and beliefs and thoughts. Like, I think living that way is ignorant and doesn't really help anybody, you know? I think there's some shitty people out there, and I don't think it has anything to do with their skin color. So, in fact, most of the really truly handless people I know are white. So, yeah. I mean, there's a reason why the demographic of serial killers in this country leans very heavily to white male with more conservative views. I mean, feels like a lot of things to me. Elimination of the third spaces, toxic masculinity, misogyny, stigmatized therapy, access to weapons. Yeah, no, you're probably right, Kels. There's no one thing. It's a amalgamation of all of them. One of my favorite things is trying new foods from cultures I've never had. Yeah. Yeah, when I went to New York to visit my friend Sunny, recently, and the people I work with are just like, ugh, New York. And I was in New York City for one day, and I thought my experience was just incredible. There's just all these different types of people all together in one place. So much access to different culture and art and music and people and food. And while I probably wouldn't survive living in a place like that, because I don't really like big city living, I really appreciated all of that. And so when I got back from my trip, they were just like, well, how did you like it? And I was like, it's like amazing. It's like this most amazing, I really enjoyed it. I thought the stereotypes of people from that area are wrong, I thought it was great. And they were just kind of like, I don't know about that. I was like, well, you've never been, so shut up. This weird little nipple thing here. I don't know what to do with that, but otherwise it's looking pretty good. I need to fill it in with more of the flowers, and I wanted to put some plaques along the way on the trail. Just, okay, what is this kind of plant? And like put a plaque in front of it, like you would go to like a garden. And then I think we also need to put some pedestals out with some of the like insects and stuff. It would be nice to have like a butterfly garden, but I don't know how to do that. Like I think you can spawn butterflies and stuff into the game, but I don't know that they stay. My friend from India invited me to her wedding, and I was excited because her fiance is perfect for her, and I was more excited about the food and the brunch the next day. I know, right? I think those are the best kind of weddings. I used to be a wedding photographer, actually, so the people who have experienced the least usually have the loudest and strongest opinions. Exactly. Philly may be more your speed. Yeah, I would love to see Philadelphia. And I was also told by Sunny's brother, Rick, to go visit Boston also. So, I've been impressed. I was impressed. Like, one of my favorite places that I've had food was New Orleans. New Orleans and Nashville, believe it or not. Like, I don't know if y'all can top that, but we can try. I would do terrible things for chicken korma. Oh, man. Well, guys, it's a little past the time I had planned on streaming. I actually have to go and do something. I don't want to break up the party. It's been a really good conversation. Hard, but good. And thank you, Island. Thank you. Oh, it's one of your favorite places? Good deal. I cannot thank y'all enough for sharing so many vulnerable and heart-wrenching stories today. I think that anyone who watches the stream later who might have been in a similar situation is going to feel less alone. And I really appreciate that you guys felt safe enough to say the things that you said today. I think it's really important we have these conversations. Maybe not every stream because they're emotionally gut-wrenching, but I truly feel honored that you guys did that today. I really do. I had no idea that the conversation was going to go in that direction, but I think we needed to for a reason. And I really appreciate that y'all went with it and came with me on that journey. Yeah, thank you guys. Seriously though, thank you all for today. Yeah, I will carry that with me for the next several days because that's when you build real connections with people, and that's what community is all about. And I know that for some people, this is a hard thing to discuss. I think it's necessary, and I think the only way we make change in our society going forward is to continue to have those discussions and have spaces for those things to be talked about. So, thank y'all so much for hanging out with me today. It was unexpectedly a good day, a good conversation, and I feel like we've accomplished quite a lot. And so we'll have a little things to fill out next time, and then we might get started on our campgrounds, perhaps. So, yeah, a lot of hugs to everybody today. Thank you all for being here. If you haven't already liked the stream, please do so. Thank you guys for the sub. For Island, thanks for coming in, and for all the new people that chatted today. We love our lurkers, but it's always nice to see people when they pop in and chat for the first time ever. So thank y'all. I'll be playing some Enshrouded tomorrow. We're going to keep trying to open up the map, and we've made it to the mountain region. So we're going to check out what that's like. So come watch me die 1,000 times. And then if you see me on Paleo later tonight or tomorrow, you're welcome to come run around with us. So just come say hi if you see us. And then we'll play some Vanilla Dinkum on Sunday. So hopefully I'll see you again in one of our streams this weekend. But if I don't, you know, be safe out there. Have a great weekend. Stay well. All the things. You'll watch the VOD later. Well, I do appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. All right, guys. Lots of love and hugs to everyone. Seriously. And be kind to yourselves. And be kind to others. It's hard, but we will. All right, guys. Y'all have a great day. I'll see you later.